5 years. So then my mother told me, she said, what happened then was that there was a set of twins born, and one of them died, or I don't know if both of them died. Then one got killed or got set on fire by a firecracker. She got burnt. And another one was killed. They was at a wedding, or it was their wedding, and it was in Cleveland. And they had streetcars then, and she was getting off at the streetcar, and she got hit by a car and got killed on the wedding. So then they figured, well, them three had to be in between the 5 years, because here's how the rest works. It's always 2 years between them. Aunt Rosie was born in 1907. Rena was born in 1909. Dorothy was born in 1910. Preacher was born in 1912. And then there was Helen. Oh no, Johnny. He died in CC camp at the age of about 21,
What's
22.
CC? What was that?
Well, see, at that time there was conservative, there was not much employment going on in the United States, and they had these CC camps, conservation camps, where young kids 16 to 21 would sign up, and they'd go out and they would plant trees in the forest, and they would do all this conservation work, you know?
And you lived in it.
And they lived there, and they would get paid $1 a day, $30 a month, but 25 of them dollars had to go home to their parents, and they would keep $5 for spending money, just like the Army, you know. So then it come down to Johnny, I think, was born in 2 years after Preacher, and they say his was 19. Let's see, Dorothy's 1910, and Preacher's 1912. Johnny would be about 1914. Helen was 1915. And Louise, she got killed in an automobile accident. She was 1 year older than me. And there was Jeannie. She was born 3 months before me, because Grandma was pregnant at the same time my mother was pregnant, carrying me and Jeannie. So Jeannie and I are almost the same age, except for 3 months. And then after Jeannie, there was no more. See, so I figured out, they come out, I could account for 11, but my mother always told me. And when I talked to Aunt Rita and Aunt Rosie, they don't remember none of that. And I said, well, how come you don't remember none of that? But they don't remember anything from 1902, when my mother was born, to 1907, when Aunt Rosie was born. So in them 5 years, the other kids had been born in there, because Grandpa was knocking them out almost every 2 years. See? So
Grandma and Grandpa were born in America, both of them? Or
No.
No, Grandma was born in Italy, and Grandpa was born in New York. That's
Right.
Okay.
Grandpa was born in Buffalo. Grandma was born in Italy. She came over when she was 4 years old.
So the connection from Grandma's side is the Versacios, and that's from Italy. And
Yeah.
Grandpa...
I can't find nothing on that. I'll tell you why. Because, see, when my father was 6, 7 years old, his father got killed by train. He worked on the railroad track.
Yeah, he used to tell me about
He
that.
got killed there.
He was woken up in the middle.
And then my father only went far as the 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And then he figured 4th grade, he started school at 6. So
Was he in the Army too?
No.
No.
So at 11 years old, he got a job on the railroad as a water boy. They got these gandy dancers that would put the railroad tracks in.
What are they called? Gandy dancers?
Gandy dancers, they call
What
them.
was that?
Well, see, where they'd work on the railroad track, and what they would do is, I got this big bar at home, I'll show it to you, how they lifted that bar up, and they would dump stones between the railroad ties and the track. And then these gandy dancers, they would get there with these big rods, and they push these stones, they were about this big around, they push these stones as a wedge between the railroad ties and the track.
Oh, yeah.
And then what they do is they would sing. And that's where they got this thing. They would sing these all colored songs, gandy dances.
Were they black people?
Some were black, some were
poor,
white.
just anyone who wanted to work.
Anybody that wanted to work on the railroad.
But did they all sing together?
Oh yeah, it would be like a rhythm. They'd all,
Yeah,
one would sing maybe one sentence, and the other one would tune in with another one, like chorus, you know. And they'd do that all day long. My father was a water boy for them, see?
Sounds really amazing.
And then when he got to be about 16, he wanted to be an engineer. So he went and took his test, he said, but my father couldn't read and write at that time. Or he could read and write, but not like we do. So he flunked his test the first time, So then they took it the second time. I think he said he flunked the second time, and finally he went for the third time, and they made him an engineer. But see, back in them days, and I can always remember when I was, I must have been about 12 years old. He always worked the night shift. And he took me on the run. His run was from FPNY, which is Fairport, Painesville, Eastern Railroad. He took me with him, and he put me in the cab, I always remember it. And his run was up to Chardon. Well, from Painesville to Chardon, it was all uphill. And the train couldn't go no more than 10, 15 miles an hour because they had maybe 100 cars of coal behind them and chugging along. And then as he went along the railroad track, there would be people along the tracks. And one of the guys that, the fireman, they would call him, he would stoke the fires. And a lot of times they would throw a couple of pieces of coal out to these people, you know, in their furnace, because they had nothing but coal furnace. And then a lot of times they'd buy these old used up railroad ties and burn them up. And he took me on the run, and I think it took us about 3 or 4 hours to go up there and back. And then my uncle or somebody picked me up. But I'll always remember that little trip that I took with him on that fire.
He told me about that. He
Huh?
told me he'd put you right there and
Yeah, he put me on there and blew that.
there'd be a shoveling coal in there.
Yeah, they'd shovel coal in there and all. Yeah. My father was a quiet man, Joe. My father didn't say 2 words. My mother did all the talking. My mother did all the hitting.
Yeah, that's funny because I always thought, you know, that your dad was probably
My
the one
father-
who really used to hit you a lot, you know, and you just
No,
you were
my
trying
father
to...
hit me once, just once, and I can remember that. And I was about 15, 16 years old.
So when Grandma used to punish, did she hit you with her hand or with a spoon?
Sometimes with a hand, and I know my brother Fi was the bullhead. He reminds me of Vinci. My brother Fi was the bullhead.
Was he?
Oh, Jesus. He was terrible when he was young. Bullheaded. I can remember my mother hitting him with the rolling pin. Not the rolling pin, but the long stick that you used for stirring clothes.
Yeah.
That was about that big around, you know.
Oh, geez.
She smacked that thing. But Fi didn't listen, because even when I went into service, he wanted to go in the Navy, and he was only 16 years old. He quit school. And my mother says, no, you're not going to the Navy. She says, you're going to finish school. So he ran away. He ran away from home.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So he come back around. They found him, brought him back home, and he says, I want to go in the Navy. So he turned 17. So my mother said,
Do you want to go down by and look at the river?
Yeah.
Just
Wanna go
quick,
down by the
I just
river?
want to see what the
Okay.
bridge looks like.
Well,
I
we'll
think
go-
we got time, don't we?
Oh, yeah. They need to talk about it. Okay. Well, I'm going to go this way, and then we'll come back that way.
Okay.
But, so finally, when he turned 17, my mother said, I ain't going to put up with you running away, and I'm going to be worried there. So she signed the papers, and he joined the Navy when he was 17 years old. Hey, man, he fell in the Navy,
He
too.
was too young, wasn't he? Could
Yeah,
you get
well,
in
see,
and
you had to, if you got your mother's signature, the family signature, but you
Oh, yeah,
couldn't sign
because
up.
I mean, because of his stubbornness, he had a hard time in the Navy.
Well, no, he didn't have a hard time in the Navy. He took to the water like a duck. But when he was in the Pacific, his ship got torpedoed,
Oh.
and they limped in the shore. I think they went to Honolulu. They limped into Honolulu, and we didn't hear from him because my mother, when I was over in New York, my mother wrote to me, like, we haven't heard from Fi for I don't know how many days, you know. She did hear from him, and they said they limped into Hawaii from the Pacific there. See, this is what
That
they
was
built.
lucky. They could have got sunk.
Yeah, look at this. This is what they built now. They do canals back each one of these houses so they can have, they call lake for river property. See what I mean? This was never here, Joe. This
I don't
used to
remember
be.
any of this. This was just land.
This was a railroad train. The train used to come down here. My father used to go by this way to get to the Chardon. This was all railroad tracks. See, now they're starting to put little places around here where they come.
Yeah, I thought you were the oldest, though, yeah?
Yeah.
So isn't it strange that Fi was the more rebellious?
Oh, he was, I'll tell you, a lot of times when he was 14, I would see, we're 4 years apart. We're all 2 years apart. Johnny's 2 years younger than I am. Fi's 2 years younger than him. So when I was about 16, he would be about 13, 14, maybe 12. And he always liked to hang around with me. I used to beat the shit out. Go on home, you know, because I didn't want him hanging around with me. Not hanging around with
With
older
your old
guys.
friends, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't want him going on bullheaded. Jesus. He used to hang around with Danny Nardico. He was a professional fighter. And Oh, they were rough.
Did anyone else box besides you? You were the
I
only
was the
one.
only one. Yeah.
When did you take that up? Not did
Oh, it wasn't. I didn't take it up. You know what it was? It was some kind of a doing going on. I don't know if it's a KZ or one of these clubs was sponsoring an event, boxing event, and they didn't have none. Now Tony Smiley was boxing. See, and they didn't, and I was good friends with Tony. They wanted to know Tony, so they said, "Why don't you box with 23 rounds, just exhibition?" You know what I mean? So we got in the ring and we boxed 3 rounds, and just like anything else, it was a draw, you know. But that was one of the acts. They must have had 5, 6 acts of boxing going
But if I
on.
remember, didn't you were involved in boxing in the army in the Golden Gloves or something?
No.
Never.
No, I was involved in the army was bowling.
Oh right. So
Yeah.
I had that all backwards.
Yeah, I was in bowling. We won the 5th Army Championship, and then I won all the events for the 5th Army. The 5th Army consists of Kentucky, Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, and all them states. That was the 5th Army area. And
No, what
the
is this?
diamond is all gone. I'll show you.
Oh, that old
I'm
lighthouse.
going to show you. Now, this is all what they call Union sand. These big ore boats would come in here and unload their stuff.
I used to come down here a lot.
This is where they get their
The beach is there though.
The beach is right
over
over
there.
there. See? We'll just take a run. Now, see this, when you was here, they didn't have this place for, you can get down here and have boats. See that's, take a picture of that. That's the nuclear plant in Perry. See
Is
the
it?
2 stars?
Oh,
Want to get up closer over here?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see, you can see it. See, they only got one going. That's a big nuclear plant. Did you get that from here?
So, I just stick it out the window.
A friend of mine that owns that farm here with vegetables. Those things are right in his backyard. They were about from here, maybe across the holy community. Those were in fact. Now see, this is where I used to go fishing.
A fish is
Perch and walleye. Oh man, that's good eating, Joe.
I used to love perch too. Walleye, I don't remember that one.
Walleye just been here within the last 10 years. They got famous. They're about this big. And they got the same meat, only they're the bigger brother than the perch.
Oh, now I remember. Right, yeah. They call them walleye because they have the big round eyes.
Right,
Yeah,
that's it. See, this is
So what was that fish that was on the bottom?
Oh, those are carps.
Carp.
Yeah. And the other one is
Could you eat them? They were oily.
not
weren't they?
carp, they're too oily.
Yeah,
Then the other one was
And
catfish. That's the one.
Bullhead.
Catfish. They had the whistle.
call them bullheads.
Bullheads. Yeah, they had. And then the other one, the bigger ones are called catfish because they had 2 whiskers sticking out.
Alright. Those are the popular ones down south.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They love catfishes. Are
Cornbread, they cook cornmeal. They put
Right.
in cornmeal and fry them. Yeah, yeah.
You do now. They're starting to farm raise them things. You don't have to. People down south are building these big ponds and they're. Now this is our
Fairport. So Fairport stayed like Painesville, really, pretty small.
See, this day, most of the places they're closed. One or two stores, drugstore.
Is there fishermen, professional? Does anyone? I mean, do they use this? What do they do here? What's Fairport known for?
Nothing.
Like business.
Fishing, most fishing. See, now I used to, when I was this post office was here, but they closed it. Now I was working at Painesville. They sent me out here to run the post office. And boy, I had it made out
That's
here.
beautiful. Lighthouse.
I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, I can see it. It's just. I remember going in there. It's always been a tour museum.
Yeah, that's a tourist attraction.
Yeah. I can see why.
Yeah. Now this here,
Wow,
I'll show you what they did to the diamond alkali. See, Fairport's got their own parks like we do, but they're just starting to fix it up. See, any of these houses will take you down to the lake, but you can't get down there. They cut it off, because then before you know, a lot of high school kids are going down there and ruining it and throwing garbage.
Well, this is where they used to have the carnivals or whatever was the fair. Remember down
right
the
down
beach?
there, yeah. Right
And
down
then
there.
this town would come to life, wouldn't it?
Do you want to take a ride down the beach?
Yeah, yeah. Because
Okay.
that's when everyone would come into town to go to the fair.
Yeah, I'll show you how much it's changed. You won't believe how much it's changed. And what they do is, I think it's around July.
Best.
Yeah, they have, you go down there and buy fresh perch for eating and all that. And you buy beer. They have a beer tent set up. That's all they serve is fish.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It's always crowded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You'd be surprised. You can't get down here.
So it's like a bit of a tourist town.
Right.
It only comes to life for these
Right.
events. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.